I am so excited. After waiting a month longer than the Americas did, after having that long period at the beginning of the actual campaign where for a while it didn't look like we were even going to get a chance to back this in the UK, it's finally here. And I'm so excited to open this and just take it out and look at all the pieces. I've been following a lot of other people online who have obviously gotten theirs before any of us have, and so I've been torturing myself these last few weeks since the moment the dispatch confirmation came through my email. And so there's a box within a box, and this is massive. You guys weren't kidding. And that's what we're met by the core box and a bunch of made in Chinas. And even just the original core box is massive. I'm going to admit, I never played Hero Quest when I was a kid. You see, I was born in the middle of the 90s, and so I was at that point where I was aware of Hero Quest. It had been long out of production at that point when I was old enough to be playing these games, but obviously I have known older kids who had it but were precious of it because obviously it was a collectible at that point. And I've just got to catch these little nicks. Oh, that is really nice. So this is something that I've wanted to do for a long time, and that's just the back of the box, you know. And I'm happy to hear that people who are more in the knowledge of the original Hero Quest are saying, you know, that this is a faithful recreation, but not a faithful recreation warts and all. Like, for instance, I didn't know this, but the UK version of Hero Quest, all of the minions had 1 hit point, 1 body stat, so any damage would kill them, even like the bosses and stuff. But the stuff like that obviously hasn't transferred over, so it's not a literal one-to-one remake, and I like that. Sometimes, you know, things do have issues. So we've got this little, so these are like sleeves for the miniatures. So just wow, the orcs, the barbarian, sorcerer, the dread warriors, I believe they're called. And so these got a little bit of warping, but that's nothing a bit of boiling water won't fix. I'm gonna get out the barbarian with his muscularity. Couldn't help but get one in, sorry. And if we just, see now, you know, like there where that's not come along really well, that'll easily just be filled in with some green stuff. But as far as like board game piece miniatures, oh, look at that. That's beautiful. Beautiful. We did get a lady elf, as you predicted, Bard, but she does not have a bow. I don't think any of the heroes, including the ones that have been announced for the actual first expansions, have like a hero with a ranged weapon, you know, martial weapon, like an actual more stuff. The goblins, you know, a gender diverse cast for a lot of the different creatures, obviously in the expansions and stuff. So a lot of things as well, like, I mean, that's obviously a replacement for the one of the original creatures, which is now a merman, because for those who don't know, this was originally tied to Games Workshop, and I'm a massive big Games Workshop fan, played 40k since like 4, so, and I think in a lot of ways, cards, are these standard size? I hope they are, so I can just sleeve them up, because I've got something wrong with my brain and all cards must outlive me. What I really love about this, even with someone who doesn't have nostalgia for the original, like I just love this style of artwork on the cards, because even though I never played Hero Quest, I played Dragon Quest, and I played all sorts of games like that, you know, old D&D. So where's the broadsword? So we've got treasures, and these are all broken into different things. These are that's a reference card. There we are. So there's like one of the hero cards. And then we've got, these I'm assuming are the monsters. So let's look at the mummy just as a random one. You know, it's a really simple game. That's shorthand for the keys on the maps, I believe. Artifacts, armor, equipment. Oh, where's the broadsword? Battle axe, braces. The broads. Yeah, may not be used by the wizard. And then obviously you've got your spells. Bad guy spells, good guy spells. That can go back in there. Have I just done that now? Did you see that? I mean, I don't think so. I wasn't being particularly rough with them. But this is why you need sleeves. And then a big thick pad, you know, of paper, character cards. And I know people talk about, oh, well, there could be an app or you digitize it and stuff. But I think this game is for playing with younger people and people with nostalgia. And if you want to play with, you know, some like 8-year-olds or 10-year-olds or whatever, I think tactile things like paper sheets are better. Though maybe I might be wrong. Maybe like digital stuff is where to go since they're all plugged into their devices. Who knows? I'm not going to durdle on like anything for too long. You know, it's all really nice feeling plastic. The furniture's heavy. The miniatures feel like they'll be quite easily remolded. So the board, let's just get one of the quarters off in a way that's going to cooperate. There we go. Is that going to... Nope. There we go. And that there is the board. And I've come this from the wrong side, really. I don't want to damage it in any way. So let's flip it round. And then this side can like go up. And yeah, because it's bigger, it folds down here. So you have that, which isn't great, but once it's set up, it shouldn't be a problem. I do like how this is like a one-to-one recreation of the original board, just like scaled up. And then you've got your additional tiles and the Dungeon Master screen. I like how these are all wrapped up in card, with paper with a little bit of glue rather than shrink wrapped. Big bonus points there for me, definitely. And now there is enough room as well in the bottom. Because if you see this here, this is, before I get ahead of myself, but this here, it's got a false bottom in it. And so I wonder, is that big enough for everything that came in this to like go in the box together? Got all the punch outs, you know, a lot of things have been given like extra, like, you know, meanings and sides and stuff. And we've got the rule book. And I like the illustrations in this. What happens in between quests. We've got the orc there, skeleton, explaining rules and stuff. I'll have to give this a read thoroughly once over when I get a chance. And the original quest book with that beautiful art on the front that I think, you know, it is a very, very, very nice recreation of the source material. Again, I have no nostalgia for the original. Well, I mean, I do, but you know what I mean. I don't have any nostalgia from the perspective of a player. And then here's the DM screen. So you've got obviously all your shorthand, all your information, the stats for the core monsters, and on the back, Zargon, or whatever his name is, the evil dude slash surrogate for the one guy who's just ripping on the heroes. And so that's the core box set done in lightning round. I'm going to just crack open some of the expansions as well while I'm here. And so here we've got the two expansions that came with the mythic tier. You know, if you paid the most, you paid the full amount. And these are the two expansions that came out with the obviously the original release in 1989. Not immediately with, but in relation to. And again, from sources that are not my own, these are more or less one-to-one remakes of the original expansions as well. The campaigns might be a little bit different, but the contents and the general gist is obviously this art, which I remember obviously the original off quite well from the Bardic Broadcasts video, mainly because, you know, this gentleman here does so well excrete a malicious and evil energy. The pose and the whole just kind of laissez-faire, just completely like out of it, doesn't seem to, you know, almost like he's acting like he doesn't care about the barbarian in front of him. And there's just something really kind of malignant that like oozes out of that image. I absolutely love that. And then obviously this one kind of has the focus head of the gargoyle and more goblins, so they went and did alternate genders for the box's main monsters. So obviously you get your additional quest book, like a room tile which you can pop on top, some additional tiles, and they're all double-sided, additional cards which I'll open later. What I didn't realize when I first bought this, but from watching other people's opening videos, iron door, reinforced door, so like alternate doors, which are nice again, really nice injection molded plastic. And we've got different sculpts for the miniatures. So you have all of more or less the same doubles of the undead from the original box, but oh, that's unfortunate. But that again, all these, because of this, the quite rubbery plastic, these will correct with the boiling water method, no problem. And I really like those. That's really nice. And then we'll just do the other one really quickly, which contains, and that's the back of that again. And then the Callous Keep, which again comes with additional, the green monsters, additional book, additional types of door, that kind of thing. You know, you've got the quest book for this, and I like how they call them quest books. The spooky hands. This one's a larger one. We've got a mummy statue, a rolling ball trap, trap doors, spooky hands. These ones aren't double-sided. And then alternate sculpts for a lot of the miniatures, including this rather intimidating looking orc. And I like that a lot. She looks really cool. That's a really nice miniature. I can't wait to get these painted up. Yeah, and then now, just before this goes on way too long, I'm going to open up the Mythic tier bonuses. So everything else here, do not, and I repeat, do not engage with the scalping that has been going on. These will pretty much all be released at some point, I imagine. Minus, there's three miniatures, the alternate wizard in here, and the older geezer who I don't actually know the name of, who's irrelevant to the original quest, because again, I never played this as a kid. So, and probably imagine this stuff, but everything else, including the dragon, the alternate hero characters, I think, other than the wizard, you know, the alternate, the gender-swapped heroes, all of this will be coming out, I'm sure, at retail at some point. Do not feed the scalpers. And so we get a Mammoth 3. There we go. Ooh. 3 quest books, including the one which was Joe's. And this actually is a funny one because this beautiful miniature was a stretch goal that wasn't actually met when the campaign was done. And so obviously a lot of people are like, oh, well, you know, the molds are expensive. They were, obviously Joe's a bit of a, I don't want to insult him as saying a micro celebrity, but you know what I mean. I mean that with utmost love and respect. So I highly doubt that, you know, people are like, oh, well, they weren't going to throw it away. One thing for me and my personal headcanon is that obviously Hasbro Pulse, will more or less only have been recording the sales on that platform. And so people in the UK and other places, perhaps, that I'm not aware of, they were hosted externally. This was done and fulfilled through a company called Zavvi, Z-A-V-V-I. And so I imagine the third of a million that was short from that campaign, if Hasbro was pushed to shove, or, I mean, because it probably is true, but also it would be a good excuse, is that those sales made up the rest of the stretch goals and got us to this final level. Some additional cards for the Barbarian, a Warlock, if you see here. So the Warlock, that's the Druid, sorry, the Bard and the Warlock, I'm sure they will come to release. I imagine all this stuff. The only ones that won't do is this one here, which is, again, the evil villain parallel, or the narrator, or whatever, you know. Kind of reminds me of, but he's not the guy on the dungeon screen, is he? Maybe they're related. Again, I never played the original. So he's one of the exclusive ones that you will not come to retail. And one of the models in there, because everything else, you know, though these were never said that they're going to come to retail, they were never explicitly said that they were going to be, you know, exclusive. And if they're not going to say they're exclusive, then why would Hasbro not want money? This is the Sorcerer. And so these ones, the Bard, the Warlock, and the Druid have additional cards. These are heroes, but they also have their own unique rules. So these are heroes which have different cards, different stats, different abilities. They have unique magic decks. I don't know why it doesn't want to focus on her. So there's the Bard. I love this model so much. I think he's going to be the most fun to paint. Will you focus on her now? There we are. And so she's obviously a halfling, but she's also a warlock. Taking, you know, back to, again, heavy, obviously, in D&D inspired. And then we've just got some additional monsters, alternate scopes. The Lich King, the alternate for the Sorcerer, where she's a lady. We've got some lady zombies, some more orcs with two-handed weapons, fish guys, goblins, alternate scopes for the Chaos Warriors and the Gargoyle. So you can go really ham and just make the biggest dungeon ever. And then, and I've not opened it, one sec. And I'm back, sorry about that. Got my sweaty prints all over it. But it's the moment we've all been waiting for. Ah, yes. The big, beefy Lady Barbarian. I've always been a fine campaigner of the true fact of life that if you're a guy and you either like muscly women or you are a coward. Those are the two options, I'm afraid. And all of that just yeeted out. So these will just be the cards for the heroes, the female barbarian, the female dwarf, the male elf, and the female wizard, but they are functionally identical to the ones in the base game. You know, it's just about representation. But talking about exclusive miniatures before I get onto them, this gentleman here, he is one of the only other models that I'm aware that will not be sent to retail. And so again, if you're gonna pay £800 for a £200 crowdfunding project, you're mad, you know, when really, like, this and that gentleman there are the only ones that are going to be exclusive based on a bit of critical thinking. Because again, if any of this was going to be exclusive, that is something that they would have, you know, hammered to death in the campaign when it was live. Because, you know, that's how you get people to back these things. So these will definitely come into retail. I love that model. The female wizard. The female dwarf. I mean, you know, it's a shame she doesn't have a beard, but, you know, it's good. You know, we'll do with someone who looks like she means absolute business, because she does. And then the figurehead, the key piece, the creme de la creme, the muscularity. And Lord knows she's got it. And yeah, I cannot wait to get these painted up and also to play my first game of HeroQuest in my entire life, which I probably will end up playing before I get all this painted up, but I think I want to at least get 4 of the main heroes painted up, and then that's like the bare minimum to get away with, and then I can squeeze a game in. So, if you're one of the 5 or so people who are watching this, odds are you're probably one of the people who's going to be playing, so I can't wait to hit the table with this when it's safe to do so, and get some really classic, old school 1989 tabletop action. Yeah, like I say, this is supposedly a one-to-one perfect recreation. Everyone's happy with it. You know, we've got Sans here, but the one flaw that everyone obviously is complaining about and has made the whole thing worthless, and I want a refund, is the evil dice does not look like a bunny rabbit anymore, and that obviously means that it's worthless.